and cold out here, and I got the A-OK from my doctor that I'm clear and I'm okay to come out here to see all these lovely babies that are out here, and somebody's pecking my foot right now. Could you stop that, please? Anyway, today we're going to talk about feathers, and more feathers. So it's kind of like the secret life of feathers. Not really so secret, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. So they're going crazy running around the background. Let's just talk about it. It's the evolution of feathers. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining and subscribing. Here we go. Sorry about the wind. I'll get out of the wind in a bit. All right, let's talk about feathers. So feathers is a marvel of biological engineering, actually. They're defining characteristics of birds, especially chickens, which you guys already know. You can tell. While we just talk about feathers mostly, when we talk about feathers is like involving like flight or associated with flight. I hate to tell you this, but feathers serve a multitude of purposes. And it's so cold outside. We're going to talk about feathers for purposes of insulation, because it is camouflage, and also some fancy display. Just, there's so many things we can talk about with the evolution of feathers, and it's really a complex story, but there's a lot of evidence, if you read about it, suggests that, you know, it might have, feathers have initially evolved for like thermoregulation, you know, the functions and just different things that are adapted for more than just flight. And we're going to talk a little bit about it today. It's a little bit cold, but we're going to talk about a little bit of it today. We're going to be here in the barn and other places. Just kind of get a good up close and personal look at feathers. I know we're talking about chicken feathers too, Swirly. So, well, let's go ahead and talk about it. Chicken feathers, they've played a huge significant role in human history, if you haven't already realized that or not, both as a source of warmth and as versatile material for various crafts and tools. So yeah, chicken feathers go way, way, way back. And if you can look and you can see the contour, the colors, the shapes, just different things. Feathers have done marvelous things throughout history. Hey, Charlie! Let's chit-chat a little bit about it. So let's talk about the different uses of chicken feathers throughout history. Now, chicken feathers, they've got a wide range of applications. Some of you guys may know, some of you guys may not, but feathers have been used, especially chicken feathers, has been used throughout history for insulation and clothing. I mean, all different types of cultures, all different types of people throughout the courses of history have used chicken feathers. So, not only for clothing insulation, but we use it for pillows and bedding and down feathers especially. Those are excellent insulators. They've been used for centuries to fill pillows and comforters and all the cool things that we like. Mattresses. Because, well, I mean, chicken feathers, they provide warmth to the chickens, but they also provide warmth to us. Especially during these cold seasons. In clothing and accessories, it's both used for practical and decorative purposes. They've been used for hats and coats, dresses, and just many, many different things. And if you look at the variety of colors that you get with your chickens, I mean, there's so many different types and styles of feathers to actually choose from. It's really interesting. Really super interesting. Now, some of my chicken feathers are a little bit more decorative than others. Some are more solid colors, but depending on what your style might have been way back, way back throughout history, depending on what, you know, how fancy you wanted to be, what you wanted to look like, and or what type of feathers you wanted inside of your pillows or your comforters, different things like that. So, with your breed of chicken comes a different type of style or whatever you wanted to adorn in your dresses or hats or whatever you wanted to wear. Ain't that right, Nana Roo? That's right. Ain't that right, Tam? You're so adorable. Now, chicken feathers has also been used for crafts and tools, especially writing implements. You know, I don't know if you guys have heard of quills or feather pens. I actually have one inside. Now, way back through history, they've had writing pens and quills and different things with feathers, and it was way before before they invented or had any type of modern writing tools. Feathers, quill pens, they were used for writing. You used it with ink. Hollow shafts of the feathers is sharpened to create fine points that they dip in the ink, and they wrote about it all on their papers. So that's kind of interesting and neat to know. Now, also feathers has been used in many different types of decorative arts. So people use feathers in art. You know, just different types. There's feather work. There's different types of various feather work that people use, and like they arrange feathers in different intricate patterns, and it just creates different artistic or functional objects. And I don't know if you know this or not, but people have also used feathers in fishing lures. So yep, feathers have been used to create realistic looking fishing lures, attracting fish for many years. No matter what they are, what color they are, how they're shaped, or what's going on with them, they can be used for so many different things. Writing, art, fishing lures. Oh, also to let y'all know, feathers can be used for food and medicine. Now, it can be a food source. Well, it's not really a primary food source, but if you've ever seen your chicken run around the yard and a little fluffy feather flies across the yard, or it's in the air and one of them grabs it and decides they want to eat it, it's cool. It's just a source of protein. It's not their primary food source, but feathers, you know, you can use them as a dietary supplement for certain types of poultry and livestock if it's needed. Now, they've got so many things going on now with different types of foods, and we know so much more than what we did before. We don't really use it as much, but it used to. We used to use feathers way back in the day. It's a good source of protein, and chickens actually use those little feathers to help them with their digestion. Also, people have used feathers for traditional medicine. Like, I know in some cultures, chicken feathers have been used in traditional medicines to treat certain types of ailments. And you can go and look those up and see what see what it is. You just picked her feather. Kinsey, that was not nice. Now, feathers are used for, I don't know, all different kinds of purposes and practical purposes. And even though the use of it's kind of declined in recent years, its culture and symbolic significance of feathers, it still happens today. It still persists. You know, feathers continue to be used in fashion, art, and religious ceremonies, and the feather industry involves the production and processing of feathers for various uses. It's still a significant economic activity in various parts of the world. I know you guys see those peacock feathers and all kinds of things used all over the place for, you know, different types of artsy-fartsy things. So, feathers are pretty cool in their many multiple uses. Now, chicken feathers, they're going to continue to play a role in our lives, just in different ways, you know. There's so many advancements in technology, new materials, science, new innovative uses for feathers. You never know what they're going to come up with next for feathers. But, you know, as long as they're sustainable and ethical, respecting the welfare of animals, do whatever you need to do with the feathers. They come in different varieties, shapes, colors, sizes. You can use them for different things, you know. I mean, typically we look at feathers as more of a byproduct of poultry production. I mean, it does have a rich history of diverse applications, so there you go. Feathers. Chickens and feathers. So many different types of feathers and things to look at. And they're beautiful. I don't know if y'all know it or not, but in modern use, besides talking about quills and pins and hats and coat adornments, you know, modern uses is chicken feathers actually can be processed into fibers that, you know, we use it to create textiles like fabrics and insulative materials, and it's a little bit more environmentally friendly than other synthetic options, but not a lot of people tend to know about it. Some people do, but not everybody does. I'm just trying to let you know. Like, feathers are just cool, man. They're just cool. My little girl over there is missing some feathers because of pecking and picking and too much jiggling with the dudes. I only have 4 roosters out here. But anyway, that's why we're talking about feathers. I mean, there's a lot of future for chicken feathers. Like, technology is advanced in so many ways, and just our understanding of sustainable practices is just super interesting. And just the things that they're talking about, like, we might be able to see innovative uses for chicken feathers. Like, one of the things that I've been reading about is some potential future applications of chicken feathers. Like, they could be used to create scaffolds for tissue engineering and help to regenerate damaged tissues, or feather-based filters could be used to remove pollutants from water. There's so many things. Like, they could use feathers, could be used to develop new material for energy storage devices, different types of things. I mean, feathers are fascinating. It's not just for pretty color patterns or art or insulation for our birds or flight for our birds. Feathers are just so stinking interesting, with just many different ways that we find, like, utilize chicken feathers. I always like to conserve resources and reuse. And I hear you, Bobby. You're beautiful. You got beautiful feathers. You know, it's just so many different ways and different things that we can do, and to learn about these feathers and to make sure that our feathers have really great sustainable uses in the future beyond what we already know. I think that's really, really cool. So let's talk about the anatomy of a chicken feather real quick. So, I don't know if you know it or not, but chicken feather is a complex structure. It's got several parts to it. You got the hollow base of the feather. It's a cylinder shape, and that kind of anchors it to the skin, and it contains blood vessels that nourish the feathers. And the main rigid stem of the feather that extends from the quill, those are the flat branching structures that extend from the side of the shaft. And those are like the flat branching structures that extend, you know, from either side of the shaft. Then they got tiny hair-like structures that branch off from the barbs. And then they've got the microscopic hooks that interlock. And the barbels, they create strong, flexible surfaces, and the feathers develop from follicles in the skin. Kind of similar to what our hair does in mammals and things. And then you have the process of feathers. Feather development's complex, you know, several stages. They've got a small tubular structure that emerges from the follicle. It's covered by that keratin sheath, and it also contains blood vessels. So when the feather grows rapidly with the shaft and the barbs lengthening, the blood vessels, they gradually recede and kind of go back a little bit as the feather matures. The keratin sheath, it kind of sloughs off, and then it shows the fully formed feather. Now, the hooklets on the barbels interlock, and they create that smooth aerodynamic slick surface. Aerodynamic slick surface. And chickens got several types of feathers, and they all have a function, you know, just in case you didn't know that. Like the large outermost feathers that give the bird its shape, they provide the insulation and the camouflage, what you see right there on the outside. Now, the soft fluffy feathers that's underneath the contour of the feathers, they provide very excellent insulation, very thick. So if you look under their wings, or you feel around on your bird under those wings, you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to feel it too, which is really, really, really nice. Now, they also have the down feathers, which, you know, they're extra additional insulation, and it kind of helps streamline their body just a little bit. So everybody knows that fluffy down feather. You've seen those before. Now, when you understand like anatomy and development of chicken feathers, and you kind of can appreciate their beauty and complexity a little bit more, because they're pretty remarkable structures, and they play a big crucial role in your chicken's ability to fly, thermoregulate, and to communicate with each other. So I think feathers, the anatomy, the history, how they develop, what they're used for, how our birds and our chickens really need it, I think it's pretty fabulous, because it gives us different shapes, different colors, different uses, different things, but it's extremely important to our birds, especially during cold weather like we're in right now. Super, super cold right here where we're at. So I hope you guys can appreciate feathers. Not only just chicken feathers, but duck feathers, quail feathers, peacock feathers. Feathers are just awesome. They're really awesome little marvels of natural engineering. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. It is so cold out here. I'm freezing. I wish I had feathers on me. So I hope this was a little bit of a fun educational bit for you. Feathers, they've been used for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years for many different things, and they continue to be used for more advancements in technology. So don't take your chicken feathers lightly. Use them in whichever capacity you need them to, especially your birds. Keep them clean and healthy. So I appreciate y'all for watching and subscribing. Thanks for all that you do here on the Chrisio's Clucky Chronicles channel. If you get a chance, go check out the website at chrisioshow.com. Y'all have a fabulous, feathered, fantastic day.